Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.
Okay, so this is another graphic. It says TEAT with Miss Liz. It's basically a square or kind of, yeah, it's basically a square format. It almost looks like polka dot. Well, there's the plum, so you have a good sense of branding. You have your branding colors, which you've got like a slight beige, with you've got the plum, you've got the white in the middle. It says tea time with Miss Liz. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very nice graphic. This is making a difference. Oh man, teaching educational awareness, making a difference. Yeah, take it away. This is great.
I'm trying to remember what pictures I sent you. But the pictures all of the branding colors are my branding colors, and they're all tea. So if you serve berry tea, you got the purple. So you got all the different berries. The beige is the brown teas, the caramels, and breakfast tea, all that good stuff. And then the green, olive green, is for the green teas. So I bring you back into the beverage. See, I love the confusion. I love to confuse people, but I like to bring them back to the tea, because when people drink tea, they slow down.
Right.
You don't see somebody drinking it fast. They
so how you
down.
feel about espresso? How do you feel about espresso?
No, I don't do
Is it too fast? It's too strong. It's too fast. What the fuck, man? No, get that shit out of my face.
I'm the slow girl. I like to come in slow. I'm that turtle. You know, other people are the rabbit. I'm the turtle. I like to come into the race slow.
Let's talk about the podcast. They can reach it through their website. What's the name of the podcast?
It's Tea Time with Miss Liz.
Okay,
it's
nice.
Very simple. I keep it very simple, right? When it's like going to grandma's house. You don't say, "Oh, I'm going to I'm going to grandma's house. I'm going to Mama's house. I'm going, grandmama."
Okay, so what are the languages that you speak?
I speak French, English, a little bit of Cree. Not very much Cree. I know a lot of swear words in Cree. Of course, we always learn the bad words in another language first, right? So,
so what? Yeah, go. Sorry. What else?
No,
my problem is I interrupt. I'm constantly interrupting.
No, that's okay. The confusion. I love it.
There's no confusion. It's more love. It's great. Okay, so English and French and Cree. Why don't we open that door a little bit to share with people? So I'm in Hong Kong, and the idea of First Nations, the idea of that whole experience, that whole mental model. Explain to me like I'm an idiot, because we're starting at that level where I don't know nothing. Okay, what is the role, let's say, of the Cree language in your headspace?
For me, it's shapes. When I learned Cree in public school, because up north they had a Cree class, because we had a lot of the indigenous people that were in our schools. We were not far from the reserve, so the reserve children would come to the public school. When I first learned Cree, it was like triangles and circles and dots, and I was like, what is this? Some kind of code or something? Like, what's going on here? And then my dad got into a relationship with an indigenous woman, and she taught us how to speak Cree. Well, she taught us like how to say mujam. So if you say mujam, that's money, because he always wanted money. She used to tell my dad, just tell him mujam, Then I speak a little bit of German because my Oma taught me. So Golsi Mama is German, is grandma. But I lost a lot of my language. I lost a lot of my French as well after my divorce. I was by myself, so there was no French people around me anymore. My in-laws were away from me. And my mom was French, but she only spoke French to us when she wanted something that my dad didn't know about, because my dad was English. So he would say, "Oh, there she goes with that language again. She's up to something, that woman." So
Right. So when you have your shows and you have your conversations, and it's about peace and about spreading and teaching. Okay, what is your role? Are you a host? Do you kind of just try to get it out of the way? Like, what is your role within that conversation?
Well, for tea time, it's a 1 hour show. It's a live show. I like to do live because I like the authenticity. I like that if there's bloopers or, somebody like technology, little
Yeah.
errors come, that's how life is, right?
Yep.
When we're fixing things all the time, I like the confusion. I like that because it actually brings what our teas are. If any
Hmm.
day life, when you go to grandma's house, the phone rings, somebody rings the doorbell, another family member comes and visits, so I want to give that to my viewers or my listeners out there.
Hmm.
But when people come to tea time, they actually are not aware of the tea until they get there.
Okay. Ah.
And then during the conversation, they're sharing about their books, their work, their programs, their services. And then I'll slip in. It could be at the beginning of the show, the middle of the show, the end of the show. What is your tea?
Hmm.
And then they'll be like, oh. So if I give you what is your tea, what 3 words would you give me?
Okay. For me. Oh. Turbulence.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Don't think too hard, Ram. Just let it flow.
yeah. I know. I'm just
An E word that eats at you, like anything that is coming to you.
elevate,
Because
elevate, and a allow.
okay. Now, we're going to take your tea and we're going to spill it.
Okay.
And this is
Let's
how
do
we're
it.
going to spill your tea. So you gave me turbulence.
Hmm.
The tea is the past. So what does turbulence mean to you from the past?
Well, like the past 3 years have been really brutal. Oh, I love how the doctor is in. Thank you. This is great. Okay. So yeah, the past 3 years have been fucking terrible. Actually, fucking terrible. It starts with T in my head. No, they've been really, really tough. And so, yeah, basically, the sort of political, economic, work, all that stuff has been really turbulent.
So that was your past. So you
Yeah.
said the 3 years. So there's a reason for you for 3 because at the age of 3 something happened to you that caused turbulence in your life as well. Now I'm not a psychic or anything for anybody that's listening to this. I'm not a psychic. My grandma gave me this and it does work. It's the theory and the metaphor of life. It's the time travel
Okay.
of where we go in life. So we need our past, we need our present, and we need our future. It's time travel. So if you watch Back to the Future, if you go back and you screw up the past and you come back to the future, it's not the same, is it?
Right.
So you can't go back and change the past. Because if you change the past, it changes who you are as an individual.
Of course.
But you said 3 years. So the age of 3, something turbulence in your past confused you. There was commotion. So maybe it was a move or something, in your life.
I didn't speak, which is, I think, some people who don't know me, when they do find this out, they're like, "What?" It's like I was mute until the age of 3 because I didn't speak at all. Everybody says, "Yeah, you're catching up now." That's like, dude, I'm 50s, or I like to talk for sure. So I think back then, I think it was pretty normal. Surrounded by language. I was confused by language, and I was figuring it all out. But then I finally started talking at the age of 3.
See, and I didn't know I've never even talked to you before today. So.
We just met. Yeah, I love it.
Right? A lot of people are like, how does she know this stuff? I don't. I just pay attention to the detail.
Yeah.
You said the age of 3 years. So I asked you about your past. So as your past as a little kid. So I knew that you were going back to the age of 3 as a child. That's why I said 3 years old. Now you said elevate for your present. So something in your present, right now, in your present moment, something is elevating you. Is it a podcast? Is it a job? Is it...
Sure. Sorry. Elevate for sure. Definitely podcast. They'll definitely. But that's been a thing of my life, right? It's about. It's funny how you turned the tables. Very good.
I know, right? And it happens like this all the time. I don't know. It's my Oma in the back. She's in here and she's making me do this. I don't know.
Yeah, such a Jedi. Okay, elevate. Yeah, elevate for sure. Like, look, I think my whole life has been either elevating the people around me, elevating through the podcast, elevating. Through the work that I do. Very much about that. Very much.
And you've done a lot of human rights things as well, so you're
Sure.
elevating change. See, in the present, and you're using your podcast, you're using your voice, so you're
Yep.
elevating. It's like an elevator. You're going up, right?
Yeah.
That's your present. So now your future. Your future could be tomorrow because future changes anytime, right?
Sure.
You said allow. So what are you
Hmm.
allowing for the future?
Possibility, for sure. For sure. In a way, that is definitely the spirit of the podcast, the spirit of who I am as a person, in terms of optimism, in terms of forward thinking and all this stuff. And then notice how I will turn this around ever so slightly and say, what is the possibility and the sort of the allow part of say of my life that you connect with in terms of how you work, in terms of your podcast? Because when you're creating, like we just had a moment, you and I, and you've had these moments with all these people. So how does that fulfill a deeper need inside you then?
For me, it's like an opening. Some people call it psychic, fortune telling, opening doors, opening, and like you said, possibilities, opportunities. Why are we connected tonight? The opportunity of sharing each other's podcasts, the opportunity of
Mm-hmm.
growing together. That's the allowing your door to be open for me to sit with you.
Yes.
You're allowing me to share my tea. You're allowing me to express. And you're also allowing yourself to learn
Yep.
so that you can serve the tea, because I can't do this alone, guys. For all the listeners out there, I can't do this. We all have to serve tea together. That's how we bring humanity together. That's how becoming a tea ambassador. There's no fancy badge or anything. You just serve you. You just serve what comes to you. I can't tell you what your tea is, Ram. You told me what your tea was. I can't say, "Oh, Ram, your transformation, empowerment, action, attitude." I could tell you those words, but you'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
"That's not me. That's not what I do." So it's like telling somebody who they are, right? We can't tell people who we are.
That is absolutely powerful. Now, can you, from the medicine cabinet behind your head, not that there is one, but if there were one, or the album, or whatever you want to call it, can you pull or remember a moment where you shared this with somebody that, because that's the whole thing about possibility. Like you suddenly somebody opens a door that reveals something just like you would have never have expected. Sort of like in our conversation now. I would have never have expected that this was where we'd end up. Can you think of a time where it just, because we learn from one another, where you really learn something profound, like a deep, deep wisdom?
Would be my 97-year-old grandma, who's still alive,
Oh, wow.
who always wants to hear about my tea, my guests. And then she'll give me little tidbits. She doesn't even watch it. She can barely hear. We always argue about hearing aids because I have hearing aids. And she makes me look deeper. She always
Mm-hmm.
asks me, "Well, why do you think you had those guests on this week?" And I'll be like,
Mm.
"I don't know, Grandma, because those are the three that I signed on." But she's like, "Liz, look at it deeper." And this is a different grandma. This is on my dad's side. So this is not my Oma. This is another elder telling me to
Mm-hmm.
look deeper. I'm always told to look deeper and to understand the dots. And that's why I connect the dots with, okay, I'm aligned here. Like when I found your podcast, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, my Oma was like, get going. Like, what are you doing? Like, and a lot of people will say, Miss Liz, like, you reach out to anybody. And I'm like, no, my Oma, she kind of like get going.
Nice.
Like,
Nice. Okay. Well, I think that's a really good segue, cliffhanger. Maybe a cliffhanger, but it's a perfect step to the last photo. Are you down? You good?
I'm down because I don't even remember what I sent.
So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.